Hello, welcome to week 34 of my weight loss journey and my post-op updates. Um, it was an okay week. Good news, I am in a new decade. I had said last week that I was 0.2 away, so I was going to be super disappointed if I did not make it this time around. So my total lost weight for the week is 1.4 pounds. My total weight loss since surgery is 68.2 pounds. I just got to tell you, I am really disappointed because it was 71 pounds lost on Saturday. Today's Wednesday. And I just finished my time of the month, and so it kept creeping up every single day, and I was so pissed. Especially if it I would have gone back into that other decade, I would have been super pissed. So obviously, if you can do the math, I'm down 1.4 from last week, and I was only 0.2 away from the new decade last week. So there's, I think, a big enough cushion that I'm not going to go back to that decade. But yeah, it really pisses me off. But I don't know. I feel like I have the opposite of a normal person or a normal woman, because you always hear most women. I think they say that they start to feel bloated or gain weight going into their time of the month, whereas for me, I drop it, and then even drop it when I'm in the thick of it. That sounds awful. And so by the end of my time of the month, I'm higher than normal. But yeah, I drop it super quick, right before. And that's why I'm so annoyed, because I felt like I was zooming through that next decade. So anyway, yeah, so I ended up gaining 2.8 pounds from my lowest of the weekend. But still down overall. I mean, having 34 weeks out, having, a weight loss of over 5 pounds probably was too good to be true, but it would have been pretty awesome. What's that quote from, is it Daisy and Pews? It'd be pretty cool if it was. I think that's Matthew McConaughey, right? So anyway, it was a pretty good week. There were some not last week I talked about the scale victories, and so I was thinking this week I should talk about scale or non-scale victories. Whatever I just said, reverse it. Last week I talked about scale victories. This week I wanted to talk about non-scale victories. Last week I also mentioned that I was going to see a friend that I haven't seen in a while since right before my surgery, and I was sort of curious if he would notice. And I didn't mention it's a guy, and they're just not as aware, or maybe they're aware but they just don't want to say anything. So he says he noticed, but guys do not have that oh my god, you look so great, type of reaction that a girl would have. I'm actually seeing a former coworker tomorrow who I haven't seen since before my surgery. And she's actually done some weight loss herself through her company. They actually sell protein shakes and bars and things like that, and that's how she lost weight. So I'll be interested to see if she notices at all. I feel like the lighting is super weird. So I decided not to sit in that little red chair because my posture is really bad. And when I'm scrolling through my videos, I don't see that much difference just because you're only seeing my face. I'm dressed for yoga now. I would never wear just a tank top outside of the house. But anyway, I'm so rambling. What are my non-scale victories? Oh, I know what it was. 2 weeks ago, I had a facial at this place that I normally go to in DC. Unfortunately, it's in DC. I live in Virginia, but it's on a weekend. I try to get the earliest as possible so I don't have to deal with traffic. But being that it's DC, every once in a while there are roads closed for parades and marathons and everything under the sun. So 2 weeks ago when I went, Saturday morning, my appointment was at 9 a.m., there was some kind of, I guess not technically a marathon, but some kind of run, like a 5K or whatever. And a lot of the streets were closed. So I had to park, basically, I parked near the highway so that I could easily get out, which is always like my number one goal when I'm in DC, and walk uphill. I think it's a 0.7 miles to where I get my facial. Now, I've had to do this before, and that's why I always leave like about an hour before, even though it's only like 13 miles from me. But DC traffic sucks. I'm sure wherever you are, if you're in a city, your traffic sucks too. So I was like totally dreading it because I didn't leave that much time, and I had to walk 0.7 miles uphill in the rain. No, it wasn't raining. And I was like pleasantly surprised that I didn't really feel it that much. Like I didn't feel winded. Like I said, I had done it before, and enough like where I dread it. It wasn't like it's impossible or anything. I mean, it's not that far, but I definitely feel like this is not fun. The weather was nice, so that helped. It wasn't, too cold or too hot. But it was more of like, not that it was so easy or anything like that, but just that it was a non-issue. And that's sort of like my goal, is for things to be a non-issue, like to fly on a plane and the seatbelt be a non-issue. I don't have it. I was going to bring one for show and tell, but back last February, I went to Hawaii with a friend of mine, and I didn't want to, what is that? I didn't want to fly the whole trip. So instead, or fly the whole trip, like in one day. So instead I flew to Arizona first, and then flew from Arizona to Hawaii. And the first leg of my trip there, it was first class, and that's because someone else is paying. So that's usually like what I try to do. If someone else is paying, get that first class ticket. And the seatbelt did not fit. I mean, like there was like no getting it. And I had definitely flown, I don't know if it like at my very heaviest, like back in 2009, or I don't know what the heaviest weight that I've flown has been, but this seatbelt was not happening. And I had to ask for an extension. And like I had to get up because she was not coming near me. And I quietly said it, and she didn't say anything like, what'd you say? I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean more like a not hearing way, not like a sarcastic way. And so what I did, maybe literally before we took off, I did an Amazon Prime Now or Prime same day or whatever to my stepbrother's house in Arizona and ordered 2 seatbelt extension, or they came like in a pair, and I ordered 2 to be delivered there so that before the next leg of my flight, because I was leaving a day or 2 later, there I would have my own seatbelt extension. And they're not expensive, but I mean, that's like how much I was like dreading the Hawaii flight, like 5 hours, possibly not having an extension, having to ask for one. And also because I was flying with someone. We weren't sitting next to each other, but like I didn't know where he was in relation to me, and I didn't want to ask in front of someone. And I don't think I need them now, but who knows? I mean, normal people say the seats are too small. So, I don't know like how the seatbelts work, at what size, like it's going to be a non-issue. And that's just like what I'm looking forward to. It's just things being a non-issue, like not having to be like, oh my God, I'm going to walk into the facial place, possibly late because it took me so long to get here. I'll be all like sweaty and gross and uncomfortable. So yeah, I'm basically just doing this to make everything a non-issue. So anyway, that is my week 34, down 4 pounds, down 1.4 pounds, down 68.2 pounds total. Hopefully next week I'll be in the 70s like I was 3 days ago, and we can have a little celebration. I actually had something in mind. I think I was going to do I have some credit with Stitch Fix, and I think I was going to do a Stitch Fix as like my reward for hitting 70. I'm glad I didn't do it right away because I'm now not in the 70s. Anyway, that's just like the up and down, literally, of gastric bypass surgery and weight loss in general. But you know, I'm staying honest. My number to you is 68.2. It's not 71, which was my lowest from the last couple days. But anyway, that's all I have, and I will stop rambling now, and I will see you next week.